My name is Eric Castonia, and I'm here to talk about preparing your home for sale, particularly as it relates to having pre-inspections prior to going on the market. Most sellers I meet with have a pretty clear understanding that there's some things that they're going to have to do to get their home ready for sale, like painting, cleaning, repairs, that sort of thing. But they don't really understand the importance of having inspections done prior to going on the market. Buyers usually have the opportunity in their contracts to do that, but I find that it's really important for sellers to do some of those things like structural pest inspections, general home inspections, sewer lateral inspections, furnace and fireplace inspections, because it gives buyers the opportunity to know more about the home up front. The reason I find pre-inspection so important is it really takes a lot of the negotiation out of the transaction after you're in contract. So for instance, if you have a structural pest inspection, let's pretend for the sake of argument there was a $10,000 pest report. The buyers write their offer based on that knowledge. If they find that out after they've gotten into contract, that gives them an opportunity to negotiate. So the less negotiation we can take out of the transaction after you're in contract, the better. And that's really the big deal in doing this. We also have one shot at this. So we don't want someone to walk away from a transaction finding out information they didn't know either. Some other inspections that you'll see that are necessary are what's called seller-mandated reports. Things like San Francisco Energy and Water Conservation Ordinance. In Pacifica, they have a sewer lateral compliance. Those are things that are seller responsibility. They might not necessarily need to be done prior to going into contract, but why not? They have to be done anyway, still seller required, and then the buyer knows the work that the seller is required to do as part of the transaction. One thing that might happen when you do inspections, you might find something that you didn't expect. So for instance, let's pretend that you did a home inspection, and in that home inspection you found a crack in your foundation. If that had been something that a buyer found out after they were in contract, they might have freaked out about it, because they would go, oh my God, there's a crack in the foundation. But by being able to have that information up front, that gives you the opportunity to have a contractor look at it, to get a bid for it, and find out what the problem really is. I've never found a buyer that has been scared of that information if it's been provided to them up front. So when you're doing inspections, make sure that you're using somebody local. For instance, if you were working with me, I would help you determine the types of inspections that you even needed. There may be things that are not necessary for your property that might be necessary for another. The most important part is finding somebody local, recognizable, that people know the names of, that have good reputations, so that buyers won't question it and their agents won't question it, and they'll be able to rely on those reports. So when you're doing these inspections, don't be afraid of it. This is actually meant to be a good thing for the seller. You want to be in a position of power here. You want to be able to provide as much information as possible to the buyers so that they feel comfortable about the property that they're buying. You want to be able to take out potential issues later by doing these inspections up front and flushing out potential problems. This is all good, and it's to your benefit.